I'm Zack with Examiner.com. I'm here with Bryant West from BleacherReport.com, and what we're going to be discussing the West Coast Conference men's basketball. And we're going to be doing this every week. So our first topic this week is going to be kind of our overall impressions that we've seen throughout the season to this point. I think the most games anyone has played has been USF at 5. So, Bryant, what have been your overall impressions the first couple of weeks?
Well, it's pretty impressive. You know, in the entirety of the conference has played 27 games so far, and they're 20-7 as an entire conference. And there's been some pretty impressive schedules. You know, LMU beat UCLA was a big one. Gonzaga just on a tear. Maybe Washington and Washington State, I believe. So a lot of teams are playing up against fairly good opponents. You know, there are some teams who have really poor schedules, but as a conference to be 27 overall, no matter who you're playing, that's pretty nice after the first week.
Yeah, they've definitely been able to step up their game a lot this season, and like you said, the UCLA lost to LMU. Pepperdine went to Arizona State and won. Washington State has lost to Gonzaga. Now, Portland also lost to Washington State, but that was a little bit of a closer game. And St. Mary's shutting down Northern Iowa, eliminating them to 41 points. The conference schools have definitely been able to show what they have early on. Let's try to rank them right now. All right, so who do you have kind of from your 1 to 9, who you see as the best right now?
I don't think there's any question that Gonzaga is number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Gonzaga is just too good. They're definitely going to be number 1 for the rest of the season. I personally have USF at number 2. I know they haven't really played anyone great, and each of their games have been close, but I think that's a credit to Rex Walters in a way that he played 5 games this early in the season, and they were all really close, and your team overcame all but your first one. I think that's a credit to USF. I have St. Mary's number 3. I know a lot of people are a bit concerned with their offense. I'm not really. BYU has had 2 impressive wins. Santa Clara I have at number 5. LMU would have been higher, of course, with that UCLA win, but then they dropped 2 games they really should have won at home. I have Pepperdine, and then San Diego, and Portland at last.
Now, I've got definitely a lot of differences than you do. I'm with you on the top. Gonzaga is definitely still the best. I had St. Mary's as my number 2 team in the conference, and I haven't seen. I liked what I saw when they played Northern Iowa, but I haven't seen enough. But that doesn't mean I'm going to knock them down from there. BYU is still my number 3. BYU, their one loss is to Utah State, and losing in Logan is nothing to scoff at. That's a legit loss. That I'm not going to punish them for that. Santa Clara and USF, I have them 4 or 5 in that order, mainly because even though Santa Clara lost big to Santa Barbara earlier in the week, they beat San Jose State by a lot more than USF did, and USF only beat them by 2. So just for that, they had the same matchup, so I'm going with Santa Clara a little bit higher. LMU, like you said, they beat UCLA, but then their 2 losses to Harvard and then to Middle Tennessee, I had to drop them back down. They would have been higher. Pepperdine is actually going to be my number 7 right now. Their win at Arizona State is impressive. You go on the road, beat a Pac-12 team, no matter which school it is, that's still impressive, especially for a team like Pepperdine who's really still trying to build up that program again. Portland is at my number 7. My number 8. They've got their wins, but they've also dropped their 2 games against really good teams, Washington and Washington State. And
I think that's the reason why I put Portland at last, mainly because those 2 losses, they're good teams, but those are 2 teams that Gonzaga beat pretty handily, and Portland got pretty stomped.
That's why I still have San Diego at the bottom, and it's like I know they've won a couple games. They're 2-1 right now, and they've been impressive in the 2 wins, but those wins aren't against really quality teams, so I'm waiting a little bit before I decide to say San Diego is getting better.